The moment the lights dropped on night 4, something felt different. The crowd at State Farm Stadium wasn't just loud, it was restless, almost sensing that something unpredictable was about to unfold. And when Bruno Mars stepped onto the stage, what followed wasn't just another polished performance, it was a night that spiraled into something fans are already calling unforgettable. Night 4 of the Romantic Tour in Arizona has quickly become one of the most talked about stops of the entire run. What began as a continuation of a highly successful series of shows turned into a defining moment, not only for the tour but for Bruno Mars' evolving legacy as one of the most complete performers in modern music. With a mix of calculated precision and unexpected spontaneity, the show delivered surprises that even longtime fans didn't see coming. In recent months, Bruno Mars has been riding a wave of renewed momentum. Following a string of record-breaking streaming milestones and the continued success of his collaborative and solo projects, he entered the Romantic Tour with high expectations. Yet Night 4 proved that he wasn't interested in simply meeting those expectations, he was determined to exceed them in ways that pushed the boundaries of a stadium concert. Midway through the performance, subtle shifts began to signal that this show would not follow the script of previous nights. Extended instrumental breaks gave the Hooligans room to experiment, transforming familiar tracks into rich, live reinterpretations. Songs like Treasure and 24K Magic evolved into funk-driven jam sessions, while newer material such as Risk It All carried an emotional weight that resonated deeply across the stadium. According to multiple industry observers, what happened on Night 4 reflects a broader shift in Bruno Mars' artistic direction. "He's leaning into the unpredictability of live performance again," said a Los Angeles-based music producer who has worked with several top-tier artists. "This isn't just choreography and perfection anymore. There's risk. There's improvisation. That's where real artistry shows up." That unpredictability became the defining characteristic of the night. At one point, Bruno Mars paused between songs, interacting directly with fans in a way that felt unscripted and personal. The stadium, filled with more than 60,000 people, seemed to shrink into an intimate venue. It was a reminder of his rare ability to balance scale with connection, a skill that has long set him apart in the industry. Behind the scenes, sources close to the production suggest that Night 4 had been building towards something bigger. While the tour is meticulously planned, Bruno Mars is known for making last-minute adjustments, often reworking arrangements or extending sections of the show based on the crowd's energy. One crew member described the process as controlled chaos, where precision meets instinct in real time. This approach has had a noticeable impact on the overall experience. Critics who attended the Arizona shows noted that Night 4 felt looser, bolder, and more alive, compared to earlier performances. A prominent music critic from a major U.S. publication remarked, "Bruno Mars didn't just perform, he let the music breathe." That's something you don't often see at this scale. The influence of the Hooligans cannot be overlooked in this transformation. More than just a backing band, they operate as an extension of Bruno Mars' creative identity. Their synchronized movements, tight instrumentation, and willingness to adapt on the fly allowed the show to expand beyond its original structure. The horn section, in particular, drove several moments into explosive territory, turning the stadium into what felt like a massive, living dance floor. Night 4 also highlighted Bruno Mars' deep understanding of musical history. His ability to blend funk, R&B, pop, and soul into a cohesive live experience reflects years of study and respect for the genres that shaped him. But what makes it compelling is how he reinterprets those influences for a modern audience. The result is a sound that feels both nostalgic and entirely current. From an industry perspective, the significance of Night 4 goes beyond entertainment. It signals a shift in how large-scale concerts can be structured. In an era where many stadium tours rely heavily on pre-programmed visuals and rigid setlists, Bruno Mars is demonstrating that there is still room for spontaneity, even at the highest level of production. "This is the kind of show that reminds artists why live music matters," said a veteran tour manager who has overseen multiple global productions. "It's not about hitting every mark perfectly. It's about creating moments that people will talk about for years. The audience reaction throughout the night reinforced that idea. Fans were not just watching, they were participating. From synchronized clapping during high-energy numbers to emotional sing-alongs during ballads, the connection between performer and crowd reached a level that felt almost electric. Social media clips from the show quickly went viral, with many users describing the experience as chaotic in the best way possible. Part of what made Night 4 stand out was its emotional range. While the high-energy segments drove the crowd into a frenzy, quieter moments brought a different kind of intensity. Performances of songs like "When I Was Your Man" created a shared vulnerability, with thousands of voices joining in unison. It was in these moments that Bruno Mars' ability to connect on a human level became most evident. Despite the scale of the production, there was a sense that the show could pivot at any moment. That tension, between control and spontaneity, kept the audience fully engaged. It also reflects a broader trend in Bruno Mars' career, where he continues to evolve without losing the core elements that made him successful in the first place. Over the years, Bruno Mars has built a reputation as a perfectionist. His recordings are meticulously crafted, his performances carefully rehearsed. But Night 4 revealed another side of his artistry, one that embraces imperfection as part of the creative process. It's a risk, but one that appears to be paying off. Culturally, the impact of moments like this extends far beyond a single concert. In the American music landscape, where trends shift rapidly and attention spans are shorter than ever, creating a performance that feels genuinely unique is increasingly rare. Night 4 managed to cut through that noise, offering something that felt immediate, authentic, and impossible to replicate. For fans, it was a reminder of why Bruno Mars remains one of the most compelling performers of his generation. For the industry, it was a case study in how to balance spectacle with substance. And for Bruno Mars himself, it may represent the beginning of a new chapter, one defined not just by success, but by reinvention. As the romantic tour continues, the question now is whether Night 4 was an anomaly or a preview of what's to come. If it's the latter, audiences can expect a tour that becomes increasingly dynamic with each stop, challenging expectations and redefining what a live show can be. In the end, Night 4 wasn't just another concert. It was a statement. A reminder that even at the peak of his career, Bruno Mars is still willing to take risks, to push boundaries, and to surprise the very audience that thought they knew what to expect. And if this moment is any indication, his influence on music and performance is far from finished. It's only getting stronger. As the lights finally dimmed and the last echoes of the band faded into the Arizona night, the impact of what had just unfolded continued to ripple far beyond the stadium walls. Fans lingered, many refusing to leave, as if stepping out too soon would break the spell of what they had witnessed. For an artist whose career has already been defined by global hits and sold-out tours, this moment felt different, more raw, more daring, and perhaps more revealing. In many ways, Night 4 captured the essence of where Bruno Mars stands today. No longer just a hitmaker or a showman, he is evolving into a curator of live experiences, someone who understands that the future of music isn't just about what people hear, but what they feel in real time. That distinction matters in an era dominated by streaming numbers and algorithm-driven success. Industry insiders are already speculating that this shift could influence how other major artists approach touring in the coming years. If spontaneity and musical risk become central again, it could mark a turning point for stadium performances across the United States. And if that happens, Night May 4th be remembered not just as a standout show, but as the spark that ignited a broader transformation. For now, one thing is clear: Bruno Mars didn't just meet expectations, he disrupted them. And in doing so, he reminded everyone watching that true artistry often lives just beyond the edge of control.